Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone. Welcome back to part 2, folks. Today we're taking a front row seat to watch woke culture get a taste of its own medicine. These are the moments when self-proclaimed activists, keyboard warriors, and outraged champions meet someone who actually makes sense. Grab your popcorn because the crying, the excuses, and the epic backfires are about to start. This is what happens when being woke collides with reality. First up, here's the fallout of a self-proclaimed activist wailing about being fired from a job.
I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my job. Now I have nothing but this. I have nothing but this website. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. Ah! 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 No!
Concerned men with sharing by unenable into
Who could have guessed that chanting slogans and canceling others would not look great on a CV? Suddenly, the same people who cheered ruined careers is crying over their own pink slip. The I lost everything act hits different when woke outrage finally punches back in their direction. Next, Piers Morgan is handing out reality checks.
We took LGB and then we added LGBTQIA+++, and then we included men who dress up like women and mock women. It's okay if you're proud of your sexuality, but why do I have to be proud of your sexuality?
Why are you so triggered by a flag?
I'll tell
It's
you
a
what
rainbow
problem.
flag.
I'm not triggered by a rainbow flag. I'm triggered by the fact that everywhere I go for a calendar month, everything has to be a rainbow flag.
Well, I'm triggered that everywhere I go for the entire year, everything has to be straight. Why is straight
Where's
everywhere?
my straight flag?
Why am I constantly
Where
going
is
straight?
my straight flag? When have you ever seen a straight flag? Where's my straight flag?
It's everywhere.
There's never been a straight flag.
Both of you are straight, and you're saying you're exhausted.
How do you know I'm straight? How dare you guess my
God's
sexuality?
sake, like, let's not play games here.
How many letters are there now in the
That's such
official?
a pointless
Well,
question.
how many are there?
I
Letters?
don't even know.
How many are there?
I don't need
Exactly
to know.
my point.
I don't need to know because it's not about
There
the
are so
letters.
many letters now, we can't keep up with
It's
it.
not.
Defenders act like every flag, color, and plus sign deserves a parade, but even they cannot keep up with the letters. Demanding strangers be proud of your sexuality is not equality, it is ego with confetti. Pride Month turned into a pride monopoly, and the only ones cashing in are the professional victims. Here's the intellectual depth of woke activism. History starts and ends wherever feelings say so.
I don't think you can be sexist towards men, and I don't think you can be racist towards white people.
How have you arrived at that conclusion?
That's a good question. I don't know, just hearing like all the stories about like all this messed up stuff they did in the past. Like, I'm not even black, but I have a grudge against them.
Are you referring to slavery?
Yeah, and just like the treatment of them over time since then, like all the discrimination.
Do you think that white people were the only ones who engaged in slavery?
So wait, are you trying to like say that like white people were slaves too?
Yeah, white people were also slaves.
That's where the term slave comes from, is the Slavic region.
Exactly.
That's why Eastern Europeans are so oppressed even within Europe.
I don't know, but I didn't see them oppressed over here that much. Like, I don't know. In history, I don't see books talking about the oppression of white people.
Yeah,
Why do you think that
problem.
is?
When the facts roll in, the logic cracks faster than a dollar store phone screen. Turns out oppression was not a single player game, but try telling that to someone who thinks hashtags count as homework. Now comes the equal pay meltdown.
Now, if they make it to the final, the girls will get $5,500 each. The blokes will get $69,000.
I can justify it.
Why?
Let me ask you this. How many of you guys on the panel know who our Australian Matildas are playing in the quarterfinals? No, because you don't care about it. All of you can go and watch W League games in the women's competition here, but you don't. Now, when you start to go and watch these women play the wonderful football they do, then they'll earn more money. The Men's World Cup is one of the biggest money spinners on the planet. Women's football, even though at grassroots level it's working really, really well, it's got a long way to go. The top 10 fastest men of all time in terms of sprinters are all black, of African origin. Are you telling me that the white guy should say, hold on, we should be paid just as much as the black guys for sprinting? No, because they're not as fast.
The woke outrage machine wants World Cup money without World Cup crowds. They call it discrimination, but it is really math they cannot solve. Empty seats do not print prize checks, and hashtags do not sell tickets. Demanding the same pay without the same demand is not equality, it is entitlement in uniform. This time, Andrew Schultz is delivering a masterclass in verbal takedowns.
Holy sh**. He said what?
No, you're not listening. Okay. And it's starting to f***ing drive me crazy. I'm making the argument
that all black people are from Africa.
No.
You just said that.
African American is in some ways oppressive because it acts as if the black people that are in America aren't just Americans. They're from Africa. Why is it the white people just get to be American and then all these other people are Mexican American, Asian American, whatever?
They do say white Americans.
Oh my God, you're not listening again. The reason why it's oppressive is because white people just get to be American and everybody else gets to be this word American.
That's not what you were saying.
No, you looking at my haircut and you're assuming racism, which is your prejudice because you're a racist.
Woke activists love twisting words until they choke on their own logic, and he hands it right back. The obsession with labels turns American into a contest of hyphens, and when pressed, their argument collapses faster than a Twitter apology. Schultz flips the script and leaves the activist holding the buzzwords with no punch behind them. This is what happens when woke arguments meet basic common sense.
Can you identify as a black person?
No.
Why?
Because I'm not black.
I'm not a woman, but I can identify as a woman according to you.
If you transition, maybe.
What defines a transition?
If that's your goal, you know?
If you believe it.
Sure.
If you believe you're black, why aren't you black?
Well, that's just not, that's like genetics. That's like ancestry.
You're also born a man or a woman. It's the same thing. That's also genetics.
Okay, I'm over it.
She cannot explain why race is rooted in genetics, but gender is not, so the whole narrative short circuits. Watching her struggle is less a debate and more a live demonstration of why slogans collapse against reality. Here's the woke playbook in action. Package bad ideas as empowerment and hope no one notices.
The woke, ridiculous ideas are marketed towards women. Full at any size, healthy at any size. Most of the vegans are women. It's okay not to have children. Like any little comment by you today, a girl will turn around and say, fat is beautiful. I'm embracing my body. Okay, self-love, self-care. Real self-care is eating right, going to the gym, taking care of your family, being a mother, if possible, contributing to the economic well-being of the house. All that is real self-care and family care. So I don't know why women are falling for all of this.
Healthy at any size sounds inspiring until you realize gravity is not accepting applications for body positivity. Real self-care is not hashtags and slogans. It is discipline, family, and responsibility. Once that truth lands, the woke script folds in seconds. Next up, cancel culture gets dressed up as justice, but collapses when logic enters the room.
Stereotypes used in comedic stand-up is just simply not okay anymore. So you can say whatever you want, but you need to be ready for like the repercussions of what you say.
Okay, you're not free to say whatever you want if you get fired for an off-color joke.
Okay,
How will you feel when it's you who's out of step with the social mores of the
and
day?
then you get the repercussions of what
I think you're still acting like this is something new, though. Now we're seeing an era where if you're disrespectful or bigoted towards someone, you get fired for that. I don't see that as a bad thing.
But I do think we've taken it a little bit too far because in past generations, mental health, therapy, these things were stigmatized. But nowadays, it's almost so far to the other extreme that it can be trendy or cool or get you attention. That's when you know you're valorizing the wrong thing.
The panel insists free speech still exists, right up until someone gets fired for telling the wrong joke. That is not accountability, it is fear. And when the loudest defenders get pressed on consistency, they stumble, proving the whole woke fairness act is just selective outrage. Here again, Piers Morgan delivers the obituary no activist wanted to hear, with Andrew Tate sitting across like he just RSVP'd to the funeral.
Right. Andrew Tate. Appreciate you coming back and uncensored. Thank you. No problem. Breaking news, woke is dead. The war on common sense is officially over. Cancelled celebrities are emerging from Twitter jail. Virtue signaling has been outlawed under punishment of mass ridicule. And we are finally free to call a spade a spade. So what was the cause of death?
Woke is dead hits harder than any headline because this time the tombstone is real. Virtue signaling buried, woke culture limping, and common sense finally crawling out of its coffin. Here we go again, another woke intellectual trying to redefine life like it is a debate club assignment.
Life begins when you understand living women matter more than potential babies.
What is it?
What do you mean?
If it's a potential baby, what is inside of a woman?
It's a fetus.
Is it living?
No.
How can it grow if it's not living?
Actually, that's like saying if an acorn is a tree.
When does the fetus become living?
Nope.
That's actually a good question, but that line...
Yeah, of course, because you don't know it, because it's living. It's living.
Oh, wait a second, but I got something for her.
When does this clump of cells or fetus become living?
When it can sustain its own life.
But when is that? When is the sustainability? How do you sustain life? Like, my newborns aren't sustainable. You can't just have a newborn and they just like live on their own, right?
Right.
She throws out lines about potential babies, but the second Kay Hawkins presses her with simple questions, the whole argument collapses. The louder the cheers get, the weaker the logic sounds. And in the end, it is just empty slogans dressed up as deep thought. Next up, the word police try to trap Piers Morgan with labels nobody asked for.
What are you? I'm a cisgendered man.
What does cis mean?
So that means if you were born a woman, and therefore you still identify as a woman, so you're a cisgendered woman, I would say.
And that's because of my physical femaleness.
You identify with how you were
What am I?
originally. Well, I assume you're a cisgendered
I'm not a
man,
cis anything,
if
mate.
I may assume.
I'm not a cis anything. I'm just a man.
Well, no, but you're a cisgendered man.
No, I'm not a cisgendered anything.
But hang on.
What does cis mean?
Well, that means that you were born the way that you identify
No,
now.
I'm just born a man.
But someone who transitions.
Why are you insisting on calling me something I'm not?
Well, you can refer to yourself as just a man if you like, but
most people identify as male or female, man or woman.
That's right, the vast majority of people. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other people who identify differently.
There are
lots
100
of
different
other
genders on this BBC list, apparently.
The so-called gender expert throws out jargon like cisgender, hoping it sticks. But Piers does not bite, and the whole script crumbles. The more they insist on made-up categories, the more it sounds like satire. Woke logic folds the second it meets plain English. And here we go, another proud warrior of the woke brigade in full tears after getting canned.
Sent that video to corporate and got me fired. Thank you. And I know that everybody is gonna see this video too, and that's okay. I'm not gonna say anything wrong. Did I realize that what I was saying in that video was going to lead to this? No, I would have never done that.
The uniform's still on, but the job is gone, and suddenly the consequences feel very real. The best part, these same people cheer when others get canceled, but when the hammer lands on them, it is nothing but crying, shaking, and this isn't fair. Next up, Ricky Gervais cuts straight through the nonsense.
How arrogant are you to think that you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like? I want people to stop saying that joke's offensive.
Yeah.
I want them to start saying I found it offensive, because that's all it is. You're just telling me how you feel about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing intrinsically offensive about this joke. It's trying to make I'm offended sound important.
Yeah.
It's no different to saying I've got a pain in my leg.
Yeah.
Right, I believe you.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to do with me. But then they go, yeah, but you shouldn't hurt people's feelings. Well, you can if their feelings are wrong.
Yeah,
You know, if you don't like the, don't change the feelings.
Yeah.
You don't have to pave the jungle.
Yeah.
You can just grow a pair and have a laugh about it.
Woke crusaders treat offense like it is the Constitution, but Ricky shreds the idea in seconds. Offense is not a fact, it is just a feeling. Shouting that's offensive does not make the world stop spinning. If a joke crushes your ego, maybe the problem is not the joke. Now we have Kanye West torching woke culture.
Wake up, Mr. West, wake up, culture. Wake up, everybody think they so woke, but they following the rules of what woke's supposed to be. Hip-hop ain't never been about following rules. It's been about doing what you feel. I'm gonna take the Louis, I'm gonna throw it like this, I'm gonna do it with the polo, I'm gonna do it like this. Even like the way I talk, hold on, let me use my African-American voice. Let me use my Disney-approved voice. You know what I'm saying? We're not even speaking in our own language, bro.
These so-called rebels are busy memorizing a script, swapping their own voices for a Disney-approved accent. They call it authenticity, but it is really just stage acting for clout. Hip-hop was never about reading lines off a script. It was about ripping the script up and speaking how you want. Next up, Matt Rife is lighting up the cancel crowd.
I just mean, like, I'm not one of those people who tries so hard to, like, prove how woke, what a good person I am.
And Matt handed the Woke Watch a wake-up call.
As long as you know your heart's in the right place, you're doing the best that you can. You know, you don't need to prove yourself on Twitter every day. And obviously, I'm referencing the extremes, these, like, woke internet warriors, or whatever you want to call them, these losers who spend their whole life trying to cancel people on the internet. That pisses me off so much because they're ruining a good agenda.
The man calls out the keyboard saints who waste their lives proving how virtuous they are on Twitter. Woke warriors think retweets make them moral leaders, but really they are just unpaid hall monitors of the internet. Nothing says good person quite like ruining nights from your mom's basement. Woke culture loves the victim card, but sometimes reality checks arrive with the calmest voice in the room.
Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't or
Today?
cannot? Yeah.
No, you don't. No, I don't. You and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. It's a good excuse for that.
Morgan Freeman drops a simple truth that shatters the whole pity party industry. If success is blocked only in your head, hashtags and excuses will not save you. The moment self-responsibility shows up, the woke narrative falls apart like wet cardboard. Next up, Ben Shapiro is lining up the woke sports circus and knocking it over.
Them in NASCAR, I don't know what's going on. What are you doing? I don't care if it's Pride Night. I don't care if it's hashtag hetero is better bro night or that thing where you're in love with the stove for a year night. Why do we have nights at sporting events dedicated to who you sleep with? Like, at what point did that ever become a thing that needs to happen at a sporting event?
Well, not just that, you have to wear the jersey, wear the flag. It's all Kramer from Seinfeld now. Or if you're not wearing the 1,000 ribbons, then we beat the living out of you at a parade.
See the NHL, and they've kind of gone a totally,
What are they doing?
Different. Them in NASCAR, I don't know what's going on.
What are you doing?
When the highlight of the night is not a goal or a touchdown, but a themed lecture on sexuality, you know the scoreboard has been hijacked. Fans did not buy tickets to audition for activism. The jersey is not fashion. It is a loyalty test. Here's the difference between hard truth and woke fantasy. One survives outside Twitter, the other collapses instantly.
You know, I was in Chicago a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, and we saw these little kids on bikes with masks on the side of their head, like 5 or 6 of them. And the driver said, yeah, they're little yummies. I said, who? He said, little yummies. Look up, Google Lil Yummy. Lil Yummy was an 11-year-old murderer.
Wow.
And you look at his picture, you'll see the headshot of him, and he's like this. And he got murdered at 11 by a 14.
Denzel reminds everyone that real life does not bend to hashtags or safe space slogans. The woke crowd wants everything softened, sanitized, and sugar-coated, but reality does not negotiate. And that is why their script keeps getting shredded when facts walk in the room. Now, Jimmy Kimmel is trying to score points off cancel culture and tripping over his own punchline.
You want us to be canceled because we make jokes about you? I thought you were against cancel culture. I thought that was like their whole thing. When did you become...
Nothing screams principled stand like mocking people for hating cancellation while begging not to be canceled yourself. The crowd laughs, but the irony is louder. Woke logic always eats itself, and watching it happen live is better than the monologue. This time, another self-proclaimed hero discovers that activism does not pay the bills.
Woke employees of this coffee house voted to unionize and give themselves $20 an hour. 1 week later, all 3 stores were shut down. Shocking.
Ori, you can't hide. We all see your greedy side.
Former employees of OCF Coffee House rallied outside of the now closed Fairmount Cafe on Tuesday.
We've been paid really bad wages, and this was our attempt to get better wages and make the place that we love better.
Coffee shops are owned by OCF Realty. Real estate brokerage announced closures to employees in an email which included 2 other locations in South Philly. Workers like Alex Simpson say they were shocked.
I am pretty crushed, especially when it's such a blatant response to our union process. This comes a week after we publicly announced our union.
No offense, but it sounds like some commie gobbledygook.
Suddenly, the chants, the slogans, the moral outrage all collide with reality. 1 week of fighting for justice, and poof, the doors are closed, the checks are gone, and the crying starts. Funny how the woke never notice the destruction they cause until it comes back to them. At the end, here's a classic meltdown.
So I applied for a job at TJ Maxx a few weeks ago and they denied my application. They couldn't even call me. They just sent me some automated email. So I went in today and I was like, so what was the reason I didn't get hired? And she was like, oh, like you just like don't have enough experience. There was candidates that had like more experience than you. And, you know, I asked her if it was about my tattoos, obviously, because I know a lot of places don't like tattoos. She said that wasn't the reason. I don't feel like that's true.
Someone thinks tattoos automatically equal discrimination and that a store rejecting an application is a personal attack. The outrage is immediate, the disbelief palpable, like the universe just broke its promise. Meanwhile, the reality check hits silently. Experience matters more than feelings. Watching this, you almost feel bad for the job that dodged this level of chaos. And that's a wrap on today's dose of woke meltdowns. From furious rants to job losses and public flops, it turns out logic and accountability don't care about hashtags. The irony is delicious, and the lessons are free for anyone willing to watch. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the next round of UnWoke truths is always just around the corner.